Mr. Speaker, on the bill.
On the bill, sir.
One quick point, because it's come up in debate a couple of times. Today we're debating the repeal of prohibition, or as it says on the board, the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act repealer. Currently, there's a less than 6% of incarcerated individuals are in for any drug charge. Not many at all are in for a marijuana drug charge. But here's the issue as it's presented to me before this legislature. People are doing a thing. They want it not to be illegal anymore. There's a lot of New Yorkers that are smoking weed, possessing weed, growing weed. They don't want it to be against the law anymore. This thing is thick. So we're calling this the end of 90 years of prohibition. It even says repealer up there. But in front of it, it really says regulation and taxation. And that's what I want to focus in on. So this is the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act. We're creating a cannabis control board. We're creating an office of cannabis management. We're creating a state cannabis advisory board. Is this starting to sound New York enough for you yet? Because I'm only getting started. There is an adult use cultivator license in this legislation. A registered organization adult use cultivator, processor, distributor, retail dispensary license, if you can spit that out. A registered organization adult use cultivator, processor, and distributor license. There's also an adult use processor license. There's an adult use cooperative license. There's an adult use distributor license. There's an adult use retail dispensary license. Sounding more and more New York every day. There is a micro business license, a delivery license, a nursery license, an adult use on-site consumption license, and the list goes on. $360 million is what we're expecting to get from wholesale THC-based tax, coupled with a 9% retail surcharge rate, a 4% local retail surcharge rate, and a measly $600 fee for every 2 years that a business wants to be in operation to do this. The individual penalties, as we know, this is the repeal of prohibition, right? So if you have too much marijuana on your person, you're looking at a $125 charge from New York State and possibly a $200 local fine. 7 plants instead of 6 in your garden out behind your house, there is a $125 charge from New York State and a possible $200 local fine. You have 5 pounds, you're still going to prison for having 5 pounds of marijuana. You sell to a friend, $250 fines. You sell a lot to your friend, you're going to prison in the state of New York under this repeal of prohibition. It is not lost on me that on January 17th, 2014, Eric Gardner was choked to death by overzealous agents of this state who are trying to collect revenue for tobacco products. You're going to need a lot of agents in New York State to collect $360 million in revenue. Let that sink in. But the lessons that we didn't learn from California could have taught us a lesson. They could have taught us that all of this red tape that we're debating today would create backlog and a black market. Canada could have taught you that if you oppress with too much taxation, then the product for marijuana on the market will be 80% cheaper. And the black market's already built in this state. It's already built in this country. It was already built in Canada. We could learn this lesson if we saw what happened there. So those lessons not learned, at least not by this bill that's presented with us today. Here's my prediction. This isn't going to help farms in any real way in New York State. It's not going to meet the revenue projections. It's going to allow the black market to thrive. Funds will not even provide enough for local governments to do the enforcement that they need to do, creating another unfunded mandate. Schools will struggle with compliance, especially when it comes to different products that students are bringing to school. And in 20 years, you will see big marijuana get sued by this state's attorney general for the health effects that they've caused to the population. And you know what we'll do? We'll put in a bill in this chamber and say, we got to use that money that we sued big marijuana for cessation programs, to educate children about the dangers of use of marijuana. That bill's going to come from the other side of the aisle, I promise, because they can't get enough government. Big marijuana will run roughshod over the businesses in New York State, and our economy is not going to improve as a result of this. What do we get? New Yorkers will get high. And based on the budget that's coming in the next couple of days, I guess maybe there's the only benefit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I vote no.